Okay, so thank you everyone for coming. Welcome to our little presentation here. So we are here today from the Ubuntu Hideout Discord community, and my name online is ByteCommander. I am the founder of Ubuntu Hideout, and you might also possibly have seen me as a elected community moderator on Ask Ubuntu.
My name's David. I'm Zuso5 on Discord and everywhere else online as well.
And today we would at first like to present a bit what is our community, what are we all about, give you some numbers just so you get a rough idea about our scale. And after that, well, we would like to present a bit about our moderation style, which we think is somewhat different from the average. We're going to tell you about some specific challenges we've been facing and also the successes and some plans for the future. And we'll end it up with some advice that we think might be useful for you if you're interested in possibly founding or growing your own communities. All right, so short introduction. We are an independent community. That means we are not officially affiliated with Canonical or the Ubuntu project, but are at the moment completely run by 21 volunteering people from the overall community all over the world. And we currently have a size of around 16,000 members. And yeah, to go a bit into the history of our community, I founded it around 7 years ago. Basically, it started out as a small fan group of a couple of friends from Ask Ubuntu originally. We branched out because we were looking for a more casual and friendly place to chat and hang out. And eventually we decided to make it public, to invite more people. And somehow we started growing into what we are today. By the way, at the bottom here, you can see the invite link to join our server on the Discord platform, which is also in the QR code here in the corner. And there are some small cards that you can take near the entrances and on the tables here, where it's also printed. All right, so what are we all about? We would like to describe ourselves as like a general technology community with focus on Ubuntu, the whole Ubuntu ecosystem, and the wider Linux community. But we don't limit ourselves to that. So even though this is our focus, we are still welcoming to people who would like to engage regardless of their background, preferences, or engagement in different kinds of projects, even Windows users. Part of our diverse offering can also be seen in the amount of different channels that we have to address different kinds of topics. So there's, of course, general chat for regular technical discussion. We have specialized channels about, for example, coding, for example, about creative work like audio or art. We have channels about career advice, and also going more towards the casual side, we have regular chat rooms and other topics like well-being. It's quite a broad spectrum that we like to cover. And a big chunk of this is also a dedicated help and support forum, which is also fully run and staffed with volunteers, where people can ask for help and others from the community are then invited to support to the best of their abilities. So apart from all of that, we're also regularly running different kinds of events to engage with the community, which includes, for example, gaming sessions for casual get-togethers, but also we're collaborating with officials from Canonical and, for example, hosting some AMA sessions very recently about the summit here. Before that, about or together with the Ubuntu desktop team. And we've also been hosting, for example, or co-hosting streams about the desktop in Dabas and other things like this. So with that, I would hand over to David for a bit of numbers.
Thank you. So we're one of the largest distro-focused servers with about 16,000 members, a little over. We get 60 to 70,000 messages a month over all of our channels. That takes an awful lot of time to go through and moderate, but we love the activity. Three of our biggest channels, just our general chat, and then our technical channel up here. It's a general chat, but it's more technically focused so that people that aren't interested in it or aren't as knowledgeable don't have to interrupt the conversations for those that are. Breaks out really well. And we're happy to see that our third most active channel is actually the help channel, the support, when people come in and ask for help. As mentioned, our community members actually come in and work with people who have no idea what they're doing on how to fix their problems. So we're happy to see that that's such a popular channel. We are growing roughly 3,000 to 4,000 members a year right now, have for the last several years. And through our announcement channels, we actually have access to and broadcast to more than 100 other Discord servers as well. So our reach is ever growing. Back to you. No. Oh no, this one is still me. All right, so for our moderation style, we do adhere to the Ubuntu Code of Conduct. Diversity and respect. We use platform tools for moderation. That includes muting or banning people that are causing problems, being able to talk to other communities to see, who's causing issues where, and so that we have a little bit of a heads up. We also use third-party tools. There's third-party bots that people make that provide extra logging or automated tasks so that we can automate a lot of the what would otherwise have to be done manually. Every issue, we've got a ticketing system so anybody can contact the moderation team at any time, and every single issue is handled one by one, case by case. We try very hard not to do just a broad moderation, ban certain things or ban certain people or whatever. We like to work with every member individually and independently to encourage their growth, show them how to interact online, how to interact with other people. And this has actually come back to us in quite a few ways where people have said, I really appreciate the time you guys took rather than banning me like other places have. You've helped me grow. And some of them have said even, it helps in their real life as well as online interactions. So we're really happy to see that type of growth from people. With that, we like to keep all conversations respectful. As long as it's a safe for work subject, we try not to ban any talk about anything. We have a politics channel. Gets a little heated sometimes, but we work very hard to make sure that it's not attacking, it's not flaming, you're not, just keep it respectful and you can talk about almost anything, and that encourages a lot more activity. Every action that we take, like I said, we have the ticketing system and we have interactions in all of the public channels. Every action that we take, we do an internal review on. We're constantly iterating on our approach, making sure that we're not overstepping or that we're handling things correctly, getting advice from the entire team to make sure that we're doing what's best for the entire community as a whole. And one of our biggest differences, a lot of online communities will take applications for people that want to be moderators. We take a completely different approach. We look for positive, active members of the community themselves. and we ask them if they would like to help moderate. So everybody that's been on the moderation team has actually been brought in from the community. They're part of the community, they're interested in the community, and they want what's best for it because they're active members of it. I think that's lent itself really well to our growth and our overall quality.
All right, thanks. So next, we would like to reflect a bit on some challenges that we think we've been facing recently or are still currently dealing with. So, for example, dealing with a community this large is a lot of work. I mentioned at the beginning, we are currently a team size of 21 volunteering members. We're all doing this after their jobs or after school, and besides other personal responsibilities. So this is quite a significant workload. And we are really striving to grow the team further to make sure we can provide every detail the attention that it needs for the best of the community. There are, of course, the general problems that literally every public community or website faces. So there will be bad actors. In the simplest case, obvious trolls, spammers, that's fairly easy to deal with. We have the tools. There's not much room to question what needs to happen. What is more difficult is when people are not outright breaking any rules, but are just simply acting in bad faith or not willing to contribute, but rather to disturb. And here it gets a lot more difficult to find a good line and on a case-by-case basis, figure out who is actually willing to contribute and maybe struggling, and who is just here to disturb. Other general challenges are, of course, the available tools. So Discord is, I forgot how old, not that old yet. They are still very actively developing their feature set. There are still lots of things not implemented that would be very nice to have as moderating and administration tools. Some of this is covered by third-party bots. By far, not everything that we would love. So we're also constantly on the look for better options here. And one bigger topic that we are also trying to actively tackle next, in the help and support forum that we mentioned earlier, right now we're seeing a bit of an imbalance between less experienced people asking for help and more experienced people who are able to provide help to individuals and to guide them to solve their issues. So we are trying to work on finding ways how this can be made more attractive, more rewarding, more visible for people to showcase their contributions and to be seen and recognized, and also make the whole process a bit more efficient. And yeah, also it would be nicer if the platform gave us more ways to see how the community is developing on a large scale, because the amount of analytics we get right now is fairly limited, and we need to do a lot of manual work to really figure out details that help us inform our decisions. But let's not focus only on challenges, but also on successes that we would like to celebrate. So, for example, it always feels great when we hear direct feedback from people in our community telling us, for example, thank you for creating this welcoming environment. Thank you for working with me to figure out this issue or to guide me on how to interact better, like David mentioned before. Also, we often get new members who tell us, yeah, they got recommended to join here by a friend, which is also kind of a high praise. There are also some stories of people who came from a completely non-technical background, or maybe had something like this as a hobby, And after staying with us for months, years, longer, getting engaged, are now switching to a technical career, maybe contributing actively to an open source project or something like this. And while this is not only our responsibility, of course, we certainly do have some kind of influence on such paths. Also, the fact that we are here right now and got invited by officials from Canonical is really high praise that makes us proud and makes us happy that our contributions to the overall Ubuntu and open source software community are seen and appreciated. Now for some plans.
So going forward, we want to maintain and improve our community engagement. As we said, we get 60 to 70,000 messages. We want to make sure that those messages are not only there, but that they're positive, that more people are involved and included. We want to, I mean, it's a community for everybody. And so we're constantly working and striving to make sure that it stays that way. As part of that, we mentioned events that we're doing. We're lining up more events at a more regular schedule, more AMAs, things like that, things that people could get on their schedule and plan around to be able to attend, rather than doing kind of ad hoc where people might not be as aware of it. So plans should be a little bit better planned out in the future. The support forum, as mentioned, we have an imbalance there. We're working on ways to make sure that when people are helping others, that they're more recognized. We want to put together a frequently asked questions for the most common problems that people are facing, somewhere easier to direct people, say here it is to get help, as opposed to constantly having to have somebody who's more experienced come in and walk, their 87th person through the same problem again and again and again. So we'll be working on getting a good fact going. Our operational tool set, as we mentioned, we use third-party tools as well as platform tools. And as mentioned, it's still being developed. So we've got new tools coming in that we can start using and activating, as well as third-party tools that are changing, improving, that we're trying to integrate in the best way we can. As part of all of the activity, we are excited about collaboration with other projects, other communities. We encourage working with people. We have a community here. There's no reason to silo it. So we want to partner with other communities, other projects, other teams, and help everybody get along. As part of that, we're working on increasing our visibility across the broader ecosystem, being more active on other platforms, mentioning ourselves in projects where we feel like, we've got people that are interested in that. Come and talk and let us know, so that our members are able to give back and help as well. And again, we are pulling people out of the community to help moderate. And it is a lot of work and a lot of time on the moderators we have. So we're working on finding good contributing people who can join our team and help advance the entire project.
Okay, now to our more or less final part of the presentation. Focus less about us, but more about how we think, based on our experience, new communities that are to be founded or maybe exist and want to grow could benefit. So, of course, there's no one-fits-all recommendation here, because every community is quite unique, and that is good. So instead, we think it's important for you as a potential community lead or founder that you have a clear direction in mind. Like, what kind of community are you trying to build? Because this will inform all other decisions. Are you trying to create a support community focused maybe around your product? Are you creating an official one, or something that is more a fan community about something that does not belong to you? Things like that. A part of this, another open or important question: why do you want to run your this community in the first place? make sure that you're aware of the values and goals that you have for this community, and think about whether these values will also align with the values of other people. Because if that is the case, then you are much more likely to succeed because you will get support. Think about who would be the target audience that you want to include and invite into your community. One important question is, of course, well, what do they need? What are these people looking for? What can I provide to them? And the other important question is, where and how can I reach these people? Which leads us to the next point. What platform should I choose for my community? Very important here is what people are on this platform already. Because if you're starting something else on the same platform, you're more likely to attract that same group rather than trying to bring in a different group or people from a different platform first on your platform and then into your community. And of course, it decides what features and what kind of interaction styles are available to you. So apart from that, some more general advice that we saw is often having an effect on whether a community is successful. Everybody needs help. And if you want to run a community, you will need help with that very soon, because it's a lot of work and you cannot do it alone. So try to build from the very beginning a team around you that can support you, that shares your values, and which ideally is very diverse, coming from different backgrounds with different skill sets, from all over the world, for example, so that all these different skills complement each other and you can cover a much more broad area. And yeah, like we did, start small. Don't try to overthink things from the beginning. Figure out what works, and then just do iterative changes like in software development. Listen to your community, ask for feedback, because that's one of the most important gifts they can give back to you, and then adapt and improve. Also, one final important question: maybe the community you would like to build already exists, which is great, because then you can just join there and contribute, which is much less effort for much more gain, rather than trying to start another community with a similar setup, which would then only fragment the whole ecosystem and community more. All right, now the final call.
So if you guys have any questions about Ubuntu Hideout or presentation, our server, anything to do with that, please reach out to us. We're happy to talk. Again, we want to collaborate. We want to work with other people. We want to work with projects. We want to work with anybody who is interested. So there's us, and we've got several other members of our server here as well, of our moderation team. And at any point, you guys can stop any one of us, talk to us, share what you guys have, see if we can work together and help each other. We'd love to be able to do that. You can join our server at discord.gg/Ubuntu. UbuntuHideout.com is our website. And if you'd like to email and contact us, we have team@ubuntuhideout.com. So feel free to reach out to us about anything before or during the summit. Thank you. Oh, we've got time for questions.
Have you ever had, how do you make it? Yeah. Have you ever had legal issues because of something that a community member did?
No, we've had to be very careful about moderating illegal activities. You know, people talk about torrenting or downloading things, cracking. So we take an active approach of making sure that people are staying on to legal subjects and legal topics. Discord's rules already prohibit illegal activity on there, so it's very easy to say you can't do that, and it's not even just us, just don't. and we've been able to avoid any legal issues from that.
Hi, thank you for a great talk and for all you do. Kind of curious about the choice of platform, for example, that you mentioned. That's something to give some thought about. Seeing as how Ubuntu itself is, at least in part, about free, libre, and open source software, and Discord isn't. I guess my question is, I mean, I understand that part of the reason for your community's existence is to address the need of people who are on Discord, but I guess my question also extends to, have you considered maybe bridging or like extending to other software, for example, Matrix, or do you think that would be better handled by a completely separate team or community rather than being bridged with Discord? And also along the same lines, because these other different tools might better empower you guys as the moderators in terms of giving you better tools, or like allowing you to bring your own tools rather than having to use a limited set of tools that, for example, the platform might provide. Thank you.
Okay, so about the first part of our platform choice, like I mentioned at the beginning, it was honestly not a conscious choice. We want to build a great community like this size. So that kind of just happened and evolved naturally. So in our case, at the beginning, we picked Discord because at this point in time, it was new, it was exciting. And the advantage here for us is that everybody can create their own server or guild, depending on how you want to call it, and has a lot of freedom in how you want to design it, how you want to lay out channels, what you want to do with it. There's a lot of flexibility, which really helped us. Yes, it's not open source software and it's privately owned and so on, which is a valid concern. But for us, the advantages are larger in the sense that it's currently very popular, especially among the, say, younger people. Originally, it was marketed primarily as a chat for gamers. So there's also some tech affinity already in the target group that is existing on Discord. So in our opinion, that was a good fit to reach more people and get more people excited about this all. And now I forgot the last part. Right. Yeah, short answer, we have been looking into it. We have been also in close contact with other servers similar to ours who did this for a while. The issue is right now it's not working too well technically. Like there are lots of issues like moderating on both sides and making sure everything stays in sync. Works fairly well if you have only one channel, but if you have 50, 100, whatever channels, it's difficult, if not impossible. And also, so far, we didn't see that much need or ask for a matrix side. So right now, our Discord native population or interest is just so much larger that the effort would right now not be justified. You have a question?
Yeah. So taking into consideration the recent attack on the translation of the installer and the fact that your team is small, are you guys considering new tooling or at least looking at it to help us with that? Maybe some automate hate speech detection, something like that.
So yes, and we actually have quite a few tools already on the platform, third party, most of them, that give us a lot of detection, a lot of alerts. So we're able to use those tools to scan every messages. We have a list of words that will flag and warn us about a message. We have some things that are auto blocked just for safety. So we do have some tools. We're part of the going forward plans is finding better tools. Some of these have not been updated for a while, but we do use automated tools for a lot of the flagging so that we can review things and solve problems when they're coming up. That said, we have not had a a really bad problem in quite a while. There was a lot of crypto scams, things like that. We got our detection down well enough that those are pretty well flagged. And so for that kind of issue, the tools there, they're not the easiest to use. Some of them are getting old, but they are effective at the moment with how we've refined them.
Just to add to that, so even the parts that fall through any automatic detection or handling, we have so many active and engaged members that will immediately report anything looking suspicious, and then we can review and act accordingly. So normally nothing stays around for long, even if it is malicious in some kind and we don't immediately see it.
Can I make a quick comment? Not a question. I just want to thank you for all that you do. It is so important that we go to where the community is and not force them to come to us. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thanks.